This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Road Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me this evening is Tyler Maxson. We'll be taking you through the action, all four races here at Bathurst for this round of the championship. And Tyler, qualifying just coming to an end right now, but this Bathurst circuit, it is a legendary circuit, and in these MX5s in particular, you don't quite know what you're going to get. Certainly with that draft effect, it's going to be ever so close, and I fear we might see a pile up or two this evening.
Yeah, definitely something that we can see here in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Again, welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and to Bathurst and Mount Panorama here for the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Lovely to be commentating with you again this week, Sam. Yeah, just as you said, I think that we're going to see a big pile up here in the early runnings here, especially going up the hill and towards Quarry Bend, maybe into the cutting. One of those really tight, hard braking zone corners that can easily catch a lot of drivers out.
Yeah, definitely, and there are plenty of them, and of course, yeah, heading down the hill as well could be a big issue. And of course, we've got the Pro drivers and the AM drivers, and we'll take you through the grid pretty soon, in about 20 seconds time. But we saw a great race at Sonoma last time out. And what staggered me about that race was just how close it was in the points. You just don't know who's going to win in this series, Tyler, because I looked at the points afterwards, and the top 10 drivers were separated by about 10 points.
You know, I'm just going to try the points here and see if they were updated. No, they weren't. So the points were not updated. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're just going to wait for the grid here. And just as you said, though, so close at the front of the field and really anywhere through the field. You never know who's going to win it, especially with the reverse grid. And at a track like this, it's pretty much all to play for. The grid is now up on your screen.
Yes, and it's Jack Ashton on the pole position by about 0.3 of a second, so handy advantage for him around this extremely long lap ahead of David Hampson. Jamie Ayres starts in third with Jason Cooper in fourth. Then it's Brian Holmes, Luke Cooper, Adam McNally, Max Bohr, Charlie Summers, and Ashley Beard. Running out the top 10 behind that is Adam Delmont, Nick McCarron, Pete Van Gool, James McRitchie, Carl Yacolet, Stuart Dick, Jaroslaw Sebler, David Ayres, Michael Key, and Adrian Hendy. The rest of the drivers will scroll through for you now. We've got a lot of drivers on the grid, quite a few of them not setting times. There'll be a mixture of them not getting a lap in, and also a few penalties, I imagine, which will have to be served. But there's such a long lap round here. Absolutely, we've got about a minute more of gridding up. But Jack Ashton, that's a handy advantage. That's relatively large in this series, Tyler. And well, it's going to be so tough for him though to break the draft, because those couple of long straights are so difficult to pull away from.
Yeah, and as you said, it's a pretty big advantage in this series, 0.3 of a second. It doesn't sound like a lot, but in this series, that's an absolute lifetime for these drivers. As we're going to see the lights come on now, and as they're going to build through the revs, 4 lights, 5 lights, and the lights are out, and away we go. Jack Ashton gets a nice start. Dave Hampson is going to slot up into second. I think actually Jamie Ayres is going to slot up into second, so he does a nice drive there off the line, and they're all going to file down now into turn number 1. Let's see if we have any first corner incidents. I think, for the most part here, at least, we're just now working our way through the AM, so you can just see how many drivers we have here tonight. We have 49 drivers here tonight, so big field here of MX5s.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack Ashton losing the lead. Jamie Ayres just behind.
Great start for Ayres. He's able to move himself up into the lead, so great start. Dave Hampson is having to defend here from Jack Ashton, so Hampson really having to defend. Brian Holmes doing a great job to slot his way up into second place, or Jack Ashton, sorry, up into second place. Brian Holmes able to slot himself up into 4th. Everyone's pretty much keeping it pretty clean all the way through the field. I'm not seeing any crashes on the timing screen, and everyone pretty much going to try to keep it single file up the mountain.
Yeah, you can see the 49 drivers almost spreading across the entire peak of the mountain there. Here is Jack Ashton right on the top of Jamie Ayres. This is SimLab versus Excite Racing. You can see how close this is. This isn't a race where you have to take the lead straight away. It's going to be more of a strategy race, and Ashton knows he can stay close, but they'll want to break away from the rest of the field. You can see there's just no gaps forming whatsoever. Maybe Jason Cooper just dropping half a second behind Hartley, but that's pretty much as big as it gets now. Luke Cooper just dropping a little bit further back, but you can see that top 11 drivers are ever so close. But Jack Ashton, will he go for a move this time? He's about 4/10 of a second behind, is gaining, and he might be okay from Dave Hampson this time, because we've got this really long straight and then across the left and the tight right as well, where it's so possible to go for a move. That's what a few of these drivers are trying to do at the moment. Looks like Jamie Ayres will maintain the lead, but Pete Van Gool now going for a move on Carl Yakelet. Yakelet, leader of the AM jersey. He doesn't want to get involved in an instant, and Yakelet actually holds off for now, but he's crucially not got much of a draft ahead of him.
Yes, Sampson also moves his way up and ahead of Cullinan. So Cullinan moves down into 22nd place. Hampson up another spot. So he's made up a spot. And Craig Jones 4 spots up off his starting position. He's doing a great job. Ursum, Niels Carstensen down the inside of Jerome Ursum. And he will get the move done there. But let's focus back now on your leaders. Jamie Ayres leads over Jack Ashton. But Ashton does have Dave Hampson all up on the rear bumper of him. Hampson's going to look to the outside of Ashton. I think they're going to actually go 3 wide now, down into Quarry Bend.
Oh, it'd be brave if they did that. Hampson looking really good on the outside. They might just go for the move almost onto the grass, but no, he's going to drop back down into 3rd position. Ayres doing such a good job there, and that's just Brian Holmes getting involved behind. Cooper 1 second behind, and look at that, almost 3 wide in the background there. They really are going full aggression early on here, and McNally just dropping down behind Bohr for a second. Bohr trying to go down the inside, I think. It's so difficult to see with all these cars going through, and this is really the part of the circuit where you do not want to be too wide, but they're more than willing to do so. This top 4 ever so close, and you feel like Ashton can go for a move into many of these corners, but there's such a small breaking point into so many of these where you're just carrying the speed through one after the other. And in the end, Bohr actually lost out there. Bohr lost about 3 positions, so he clearly got offline, and he's dropped down into 11th place.
Yeah, so definitely not the start that he was looking for, but Carl Jacquelet, this is him in P15 overall right now, so he's doing a nice job. He's currently holding off Nick McCarron. Nick McCarron is a pro driver, so not fighting him for position, technically, but he is fighting him for position in the race. But he has about a 1 second gap now to David Ayres, the second of the AM drivers here today. Craig Jones making a move here on Martin Sampson, but Jones is going to have the outside as they head through.
Leaders side by side, by the way, apologies. Ashton's just taken the lead, seemingly, unless Ayres can retaliate. Oh, nice move there from Jack Ashton. And he's already pulled a little bit away to that corner, so got the run down the straight. And now Dave Hampson doesn't want to affect Jamie, as you can see. He just drops behind us. Doesn't want to lose each other a lot of time because they don't want to lose the jump to the race lead.
There you go. We're going to see, I think that's Luke Cooper there making a move on Jason Cooper. So the two Coopers fighting it out here down into turn one. Brian Holmes there, actually, sorry, will slot back into fourth place. Dave Hampson, like you said, though, not really wanting to fight Jamie Ayers in the end there. He's just going to slot up in behind him, but Ayers is going to look here for a move on Jack Ashton. Ashton's going to stay the inside. Ayers is going to have a great run if he wants a chance here. It's so hard to go around the outside through Quarry Bend. It's just one of those really tight corners, but Ayers able to get later on the brakes and into P1.
Yeah, that was proper bravery there. Ashton quite willing. They're just braking a little bit early, and now Hampson is trying to attack the driver in second place. McNally moving ahead there. Also, we've got a little bit of contact. I think that may have been for the race leader, Jamie Ayres, just skimming the wall. He's now side by side, just going up the hill. Oh, who's going to end up in the wall here? Ashton moves ahead. Hampson still right on the tail. But they all get back into single file, so maybe a mistake there from Ayres. Certainly someone hit the wall, I'm not quite sure who it was. And this battle, it was 4 cars on the last lap. It's now up to about 12.
Yeah, and I believe that it was Ayers. I could see a little bit of damage on the right-hand side of that MX5, so Jamie Ayres having a little bit of contact there with the wall. I don't quite know exactly where that was, but he definitely did hit the wall nonetheless. And now he's under attack there from his teammate, Dave Hampson. So Hampson looking to move his way now up into second place, and that's just allowing Jack Ashton to get a little bit of a gap there, as Ayres, you can see, is struggling just a little bit there in the end.
Yeah, he's just dropping back a little bit from the race leader, but that draft effect in this Mazda, it is quite unrealistic, it must be said, although to be fair, Ty, you'd know better than most. But at least from what I know, it's quite unrealistic, as once again, the leaders go side by side, third and fourth going side by side, two by two they come, and Ashton this time does win out, but as... well, he wants that race lead right back again, and now the third and fourth place drivers switching around. Ashton with the bets line. It's tough to go around the outside here. Go for a little bit of grass cutting, and a really good run there for Brian Holmes. He might have a chance at going down the inside of the pair of them here, but no, he just stays behind. He's going to try to get the run. Ashton still with the ideal line, but this is fantastic to watch.
Yeah, great battling with these top 4 drivers. This is pretty much turned now into almost a 15-car battle, maybe. We're seeing a lot of cars there. You can see just the line that these leaders are forming with their battling. But Holmes and Ashton just going to push clean around the outside of Ayres and Hampson. So I think at least Jack Ashton will be able to get ahead, and they're all pretty much going to gang up on that inside line and all try to go around the outside, but it is going to be Jamie Ayres who will hold on to the lead. Now they're going to go 3 wide out of Quarry Bend, but they aren't going to make contact crucially. That was a little bit brave from each one of those drivers to try to take it 3 wide through that section.
And Ashton losing 2 positions could have been even worse. Almost lost out to Dave Hampson as well. So the drivers who started on the front row of the grid now down to 3rd and 4th. And you're absolutely right, this is now at least a 13-car battle. But Sebler is closing in, and now we have had contact. I had a big contact there. Oh wow, a car buried in the wall, and that is Brian Holmes, the driver who was running in 2nd position, had worked his way up through the field nicely, and he is out of the race.
Yeah, Brian Holmes, big contact there into the wall. Sorry about that one. Just couldn't get it spooled up quick enough there. We can get a replay for you. We'll check out that post-race. But right now, it is the battle for the lead. Jamie Ayres, though, leading by about 6/10 this time over Jack Ashton. And with the slipstream, Jack Ashton should be able to close that gap right back up. And yeah, just as you mentioned last lap, the slipstream in these cars actually is a little bit less than what these cars, what these generation of cars would get. Usually you'd be able to close up from about 10 cars back and slipstream straight up by someone, especially on this long of a straightaway. There's 2 different versions of the cars now, an ND1 and an ND2. These are the ND1 cars. They're the older generation cars. The new cars don't have as much slipstream, being that they are higher horsepower, but they do still have slipstream nonetheless. But yeah, these cars in real life, you can suck up from about 10 cars back and just blow by someone like they're standing still, especially if you have someone to push you as well.
Oh, that's really interesting, actually. I always thought it was the other way around, but there you go. So iRacing absolutely nailing that. Or very close to at least. Ashton, as we start lap 5, 6, 5. And he's still going for the lead. A little bit of side-by-side just in the background there. That's McNally and McRitchie. McRitchie just making that move for P9. But Ashton, yeah, they're desperate for the race. It has just been Ayres and Ashton just sharing this lead out, and Hampson's done well at maintaining that P3. Summers has gone from 9th to 4th so far in this race, very much under the radar. Here comes Ashton. This should be simple enough. Although Ayres with good top-end speed there. And once again, Ashton gets really pushed out, almost ends up in the wall. And is he going to drop down to 3rd place? Yes, he has. Maybe even 4th place. So Ashton needs to learn from that mistake, because that's 2 laps in a row where he's gone wide at that turn 2, and it is cost him back.
Yeah, keep an eye, though, on Charlie Summers and Jason Cooper. The 2 Swift Cooper Esports cars are really moving their way up through the field here really quickly. So keep an eye on them for the race lead here in a few laps' time. They're currently sitting in 4th and 5th. But yeah, Jack Ashton now sorts back into 3rd. Dave Hampson will now try and have a go at his teammate, or maybe will push his teammate and try to get away from the rest of the field, which is very, very unlikely, being that the 3 drivers behind him definitely don't want to lose that front train, so the chances of them battling and letting them walk away with it are slim to none.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're all in it for themselves, I think, because yeah, some of the teams have so many cars in this series that it's very difficult to work together, because if you don't, then you're pretty much not going to fight anyone for the entire series. That's how many kind of Cooper and Momo cars there are out on the grid. But here comes Ashton once again. And he's not going to have the slipstream on the race leader, Hampson. Really just getting boxed in for a bit there. And Ashton almost going for the lead. He has got his nose ahead. And this is the line that he used to take the lead a couple of laps ago. He's now gone completely across the circuit, and that might even be a slowdown. He'll certainly be hoping it's not. But he's now down into 5th position, is Jack Ashton.
Yeah, so Jack Ashton now sorting his way into 5th position. I can see he went just a little bit too deep into there, but that allows Jamie Ayres back up into the lead nonetheless. But he's got his teammate Dave Hampson for company. But Hampson, he's got Charlie Summers all over the back of him. And he's got Summers' teammate Jason Cooper just a few tenths behind as well. So the 2 Swift Cooper Esports cars maybe going to try to work together here and gang up on the SimLab cars.
And this is the last lap as well. It's rare that we get 2 minutes and 10 to go. And it's the last lap, but that is the length of this Bathurst circuit. So it all matters now. It's undoubtedly going to go down to the last corner, but you want to be in the best position possible. Dave Hampson leads this race now. He's got his nose ahead, and will Ayres even be able to hang on to 2nd position? There's surely contact is there. Hampson's very wide. He's almost into the wall. Now they're side by side going to the next corner, but it's Ayres who pulls ahead. Here comes Jason Cooper round the outside, and he's going to try to go for the lead. Contact definitely there, and he almost gets sucked into the wall. But now Jason Cooper arguably with the best position right in that slipstream.
Yeah, Jason Cooper definitely with a good position, and we see Adam Delmont, Charlie Summers, they're going side by side up through Reed Park, and now they work their way down into Skyline and down into the S's and Dipper. So this is one of the most action-packed areas of the track. Such tight, close walls. You're not really wanting to go too wide, but they're going to go through wide here in the front. Jason Cooper up into 2nd place. I definitely was contact with Jamie Ayres, but Ayres is doing absolutely everything that he can here to hold on to 2nd place. But he's got Cooper here, has Hampson for company, so not going to make it easy on him, especially being that he is Jamie Ayres' teammate, so not going to want to fall back too far nonetheless. But they definitely are. If he's going to work with someone, it's going to be Jamie.
So here we go, down the chase. And one last chance maybe for Jason Cooper to take the lead of this race. Here he goes. He hasn't led the race for the entire time. But now, with just a few seconds to go, he is into the lead, the number 1 car. Can he hang on to it, though, for 2 more corners? Ayres will try to retaliate. We've got side by side for third and fourth as well. We're going to go right down to the last corner of this race. It's Cooper, Ayres, Hampson, Ashton. It's surely a two-way battle at this point. Cooper will defend to the inside into the final corner. It's too tough to go round the outside surely, and Jason Cooper is going to get round the final corner. He's going to take the checkered flag for race 1 at Bathurst, and that is a fantastic race victory. Crash on the line for Delmont and Summers, and they drop well down the field. Hasn't they crossed the line? No, they haven't. So this is painful for Adam Delmont, having to drive away from the checkered flag, just meters away from it. Summers does cross the line eventually, but disappointing end for those two.
Yeah, and there's so much contact there continuing to wreck. No one really is keeping that thing, and Adam Delmont puts it up on 2 wheels. He's got it back down on 4, so he has gotten the car through, but we're just waiting on a few more drivers and finish up here today. That was an action-packed race, nonetheless.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane, that race. Never knew he was going to win. And Jason Cooper, yeah, I don't think he led the race for the entire time. It was all Ayres and Ashton. But after Ashton's mistake, and Ayres perhaps didn't want to be leading, going on to the chase. But there you go. Arguably made that mistake, but still a solid second place.
Yeah, still a nice result for him, and the race results are up on your screen right now.
Yes, and it's Jason Cooper winning out by 0.2 of a second in the end, ahead of Jamie Ayres, ahead of David Hampson and Jack Ashton in third and fourth. Luke Cooper was in fifth with Ashley Beard, 2 seconds off the lead in sixth place. James McRitchie was in seventh with Alan McNally in eighth, then Stuart Dick and Carl Yakolet. Behind that was Pete Van Gool, Max Bohr, Jaroslav Sebela, Nick McKern, David Ayres, Steve Hefford, Niles Carstensen, Michael Key, Kip Stevens, Martin Sampson, Craig Jones, Cesar Rizzo, Steve Baxter, Dave Cullinan, Adrian Hendy, Ben Sharp, Alex Cherney, Charlie Summers, who of course had that crash right at the end, Charles Kellyman and Adam Delmont, who was also in that crash, rounding out the top 30. Behind that was Steve Hansford, Ewan Ursum, Craig Cameron, Max Wright, Al-Bukhar Al-Amri, Wouter Van Essen, Andy Maxwell, Roy Verkerk, Christian Brown, Dale Benison, rounding out the top 40, and then Graham Sesford and Stephen Minton, the last 2 drivers on the lead lap. And then the retirees were Brian Holmes, Josh Rayfield, Alex Perkis, Rob Graham, Billy Rose, Scott Malcolm, and Carl Hardy. Quite impressive, I must say. Only 6 retirements out of a field of 49. Considering the action that we saw there, that's very impressive.
And we'll just quickly jump back here. Let's get a replay. And Holmes, I don't know if it's actually going to queue up Holmes. Yes, it will. So let's see what happened to him. Let's grab that replay just one more time for you.
He did well to stop it there, didn't he? Didn't get back into the traffic, just stopped it on the side of the circuit and towed back.
And I think that was pretty much all that he could have done there. I think he was pretty much stuck in the wall. But it is reverse grid wheel time. So let's go ahead and get up your reverse grid here for race number 2. And it is a -4. So we'll have a full reverse -4 here today for your reverse grid. So we'll be back here in just a few moments' time on the iRacing Esports Network for race 2 of the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Don't go anywhere.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Coming for a splash. 3, 2, 1, now. All clear, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
Once again, photo finish here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMeritt at the line. the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
He's trying this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. Once again, I'm Sam Patrick, and once again, alongside me this evening is Tyler Maxson. And Tyler, we just saw a fantastic race one where the lead was constantly changing corner after corner. And well, I suspect for races 2, 3, and 4, we're going to see more of the same.
Yeah, I do believe that we will see more of the same. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network, and welcome back to Bathurst. And you can see very, very overcast conditions, so should make the track have a little bit of cooler temperatures. We just see some overcast conditions in the first one, but this is definitely a little bit more prominent as we work our way towards the nighttime. I think that we should have one night race, if I'm not mistaken, in the championships. So let's see how that affects the drivers as we're just going through the warm-up session for them. Should be advancing in just about 2 minutes' time before we can run you through the grid and get ready for race 2 of the evening tonight. But yeah, back here, we saw a very action-packed race 1. I think that we're going to see more of the same here for race 2.
Yeah, I think so. We've so far got 47 drivers in the Serpa. We had 49 in race 1. So we've just got a couple more drivers to add, and then we'll get on our way. Of course, it was a full -3 reverse grid, I think, Tyler. And so, of course, everyone is very competitive in this season. Everyone has a chance at winning a race. But we can kind of assume that we're going to see quite a lot of chop and changing as the race goes on, because maybe the fastest drivers are a little bit further back in the grid, around the 30th position mark.
Yeah, I believe we had a full reverse -4, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to guess. I can't confirm. We have full reverse -4. So yeah, really, the fast drivers, like you said, are going to be really, really far back. So they're going to have to work their way through it. It's so easy to have contact here that I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of them possibly wreck out, being that they make a little bit too aggressive of a move. Definitely not out of the question. And just reading a bit of the chat, it did say that from last round, Brian did have his Rift start to update. So that is what happened to him. Was kind of interesting, that incident. So that does answer a few of my questions that I did have. So good to know that that is what happened for him.
Yeah, shame to see that occur, because he had a decent chance at maybe winning that race. And of course now he's not even going to be able to do race 2, it seems, judging by the chat. So hopefully he'll be back for race 3. Yeah, just a couple more drivers getting in. But in that first race, always a dilemma whether or not you want to lead going onto that last back straight. And it was actually the driver in second place last time, Tyler, that won the race going onto the back straight. Do you think second place is the best place to be compared to first?
For this track, yes. Whenever you're going on to the last lap, you're definitely going to want to be the driver in second, not the driver leading. The driver leading is the most vulnerable, heading onto the back straightaway and down into the chase. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're very, very vulnerable down there. So it's not the best position to be in whenever you're trying to make a move on the leader. But for the driver in second, it's a little bit easier. The driver in the lead, depending if he wants to defend out of the chase.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting dynamic, because saw plenty of changing of leads in that first race, and you always felt like none of the drivers were quite sure where they wanted to be. And of course, there's no simple answer. It's all well and good having the tactics right, but the execution is more often than not the most important factor, whether or not you want to win or not. Just some of the drivers are still setting some practice times, and drivers just loading into the session currently.
Yes, we have a few drivers just getting into the session. We should be advancing pretty soon. We're only missing one driver, so I think that should be everyone into the session and ready to go here. So, okay, just getting confirmation in less than a minute before we are going to go ahead and advance and get ready to go here for race 2 of the evening.
Yeah, we are super excited about this, and it's always tough in a race like this, Tyler, when you got such a big championship as this is. You want to accumulate points, and when you got those situations with a couple of laps to go, and you're in those big slipstream battles, it must be so difficult to kind of compose yourself, because if you want to go for the championship, solid top 10s is really all you need. But if you sometimes you can get a bit greedy. It's all about kind of having that rationale, maybe not to take so many risks on that final lap.
Yeah, definitely all about the patience, and whether you're looking to be in here for the championship or if you're out of the championship, maybe just looking for that race win. Those drivers may be a little bit more aggressive than the drivers that are in the championship and do want to fight for the championship overall. Not so worried about getting every race win, more worried about the consistent finishes. Yeah, just like you said, though. The consistent finishes are what's going to win you championships, not the race wins. If you have 5 top 5 finishes and the driver has a win and 4 DNFs. So more often than not, it's better times just to play it safe and collect the championship points than to go for it all out. And grid is up on your screen now.
Yes, so it's Rover Verke taking the pole position ahead of Andy Maxwell. Then it's Wouter van Essen, Abdulkir Al Amri. Apologies, Abdulkir, for mispronouncing your name earlier on, but there you go. Max Wright starts in 5th with Craig Cameron in 6th. Ewan Ursum starts in 7th with Steve Hemsford in 8th. And then it's Adam Delmont and Charles Kellyman rounding out the top 10. Remember, Delmont and Summers, 9th and 11th on the grid. They were running in the top 10 earlier on, so they could actually be very dangerous drivers for this race too, because they are starting quite far up. You'll see a little bit further down the order. I think race 1 winner, so Jason Cooper starting down in 38th position. It's a fantastic chance for a couple of drivers to maybe get a rare race victory. What is going to happen in this race 2 of the evening? We are about to get underway here at Bathurst.
Rover Verke gets a nice start, and you can see several drivers there actually didn't even load up into the session, so that's going to be a nice easy one for him. Not having too much to challenge, but just like you said, yeah, Adam Delmont and Charlie Summers running up in the top 10 in race 1. I think that this should be a pretty way easier race win for them because they're not going to have the drivers such as Ash Beard, Dave Hampson, Jack Ashton, Jamie Ayers, Jason Cooper. Those really fast drivers, they're not going to have to really worry about them. As Al Amory down the inside, and I think that he's going to move up, and he will. He moves up into the lead. So Al Amory up into the lead here on lap 1.
Yeah, that's a nice move from him, and he'll be hoping that the drivers behind start battling. And Delmont already up into 4th position. He's up 5 places from his start, and that is an awesome start for him. Charlie Summers also up 5 places. He's trying to go for the move on, just dropping back behind Hansford there, and yeah, actually only up 4 places then from his start, but still pretty successful for him. Once again, we seem to have got away this first lap, dare I say, without too big a pile-up, at least on the rise up to the top of the hill, but on the descent we can certainly have some more incidents. Ralph Moore just going a little bit wide as we have got a car spinning on the inside there, and that is Cesar Rizzo and also Charles Kellyman dropping well down the order. Shame to see that because they were relatively near the front. Kellyman started in the top 10.
And Al Amory, he's on his roof. Let's quickly get a replay of that and see what happened. So your race leader up on his roof going down the hill. So this is a very easy spot to do it. He just loses it into the wall, and he does roll the car over. Let's jump quickly back into the action, though. That is giving Rover Verke a nice lead over Andy Maxwell. And Adam Delmont already up into 3rd, and he's all over the back of Maxwell. Maxwell defends the inside. Delmont to the outside. I think that's going to be a pretty easy move for Delmont. Just being able to swoop in. And Delmont up into 2nd place, I think. But Maxwell's going to try to hold around the outside here through the chase. And Delmont, though, is just going to slip ahead. Maxwell, though, comes back on him on the exit. So Delmont will have the inside heading down into Murray's corner. And I think Delmont's just going to be able to get it ahead. It's so difficult to hold it around the outside through here. But Maxwell does try it. And so this battle's still going to go on all the way down into turn 1. And all that's happening, it's just giving Rover Verke a very easy, quick little dash away.
And Ursum is going to go down the inside of 2 cars here. That's almost contact. Ursum, maybe that was a little bit too aggressive for the Excite Racing driver because, yeah, really tried to get a couple of cars in one corner. Maybe would have been better just to stay behind because he's now lost a lot of momentum. Summers is in 4th. Baxter now moving up to 5th. What a start. He's had on 11 positions already. course, a few of them with the jersey unfortunately didn't take the starts off the race. So it's side by side, Maxwell versus Summers, and Summers up into third place. He's gone from 6th to 3rd in a couple of corners there after being shuffled down a little bit, back up into 3rd place and with a chance at the race win. Maxwell now with a Baxter on his tail. You can see a proper train queuing up. These guys just fighting for a few corners, and all of a sudden they've got a massive queue of cars waiting to overtake. Oh, now we've got to spin around, and that could be a pile-up.
And that is Niels Carstensen. He is around, just trying to click on him there. Yeah, so that could easily be a pile-up. A lot of drivers having to spin their way through. So Niels Carstensen goes around. I was just about to say, watch out for Niels Carstensen. He says he's coming through the field, but not to be anymore. Andy Maxwell now. He has a train here. He's got Jerome Ursum, Adrian Hendy, Steve Hansford, Ralph Cullinan, Kip Stevens, and Craig Jones. I believe that is going to be the 6 behind him. So he's got quite a bit to defend from now.
Yeah, that's going to be tough for him as the 2 race leaders really closing in on one another. Alan Delmont is a man on a mission. And look at this, he's already going to go for the race lead. This is going to help Charlie Summers, who will get a waft of a slipstream behind these two. That gap about 1.2 seconds currently, and it's closing in by a few hundredths currently down the straight. But Adam Delmont now pulling ahead of Roy Verke. Does he have much defense? Is it better for Verke just to slot back into the slipstream? I think that's what his tactic is going to be, because Verke is a quick driver, so he should have the pace to stick with Delmont as long as he if he just stays in the slipstream.
Yeah, he should have just enough pace to hang on Adam Delmont. Adam Delmont, like you said, a man on a mission here. He's done a great job, though, to close up that gap. That was a big gap, a 1.8 second gap, and he's closed it up in just 1 lap. So that just kind of shows the pace that Adam Delmont has, because Roy Verke is definitely not a slow driver by any means, but Charlie Summers now going to send it down the inside into turn 1, and now the 2 who crashed in the last race are now 1 and 2 here in race 2.
Yeah, so maybe they'll want to settle that score. They always talk about silver linings. Well, some silver linings are bigger than others, and the fact that they had good positions for this race too, sure was a big one. Jamie Ayres, one of the front runners from race 1, making his way up through the field. He is now into 22nd place behind the likes of Cooper, McNally and Hampson, though, so has been an awesome start for Jamie Ayres, trying to keep pace with those drivers' progress.
Definitely not been an easy one for him either, but Charlie Summers, he's right up on the back of Adam Delmont. Adam Delmont really having to do a little bit of defending, so Summers up in a P2, Verke down to P3, but he is still the leader of the AMs is Verke. Stephen Baxter, though, really close on the back of Roy Verke. They have a big gap behind him, so it's really not dire crucial, but for Stephen Baxter, if he wants a chance of the race win, he's got to get by Roy Verke with a quickness and not do too much messing about. As he tries to move heading up the hill, Verke is wide, and that is going to allow Baxter up into P3. So Roy Verke feeling a little bit of pressure there from Baxter, and Baxter able to pressure him into a mistake.
Yeah, Baxter, of course, the Swift Cooper Esports teammate to the driver currently running in 2nd place, Charlie Summers, and so that's going to be an opportunity, a little bit of team games perhaps between the 2 of them, and that's really what you want. You want to have a support kind of on your tail to kind of fend off any attacks at the moment. By the way, 4th and 5th getting a little bit separated for Verke and Maxwell currently. Heading back to this battle, Stuart Dick, good start for him actually, up 15 places. Finished in the top 10 in the first race, but we didn't see too much of him, but he's having an awesome run at the moment as Ashton and McNally switch places, and that might be a little bit of a team play between the 2 Excite drivers there, as now Cooper and Dick. Cooper going past race 1 winner. Will Dick keep it in there? As no, not quite, so he'll go round the outside there. Will Ashton, and nice move there.
Yeah, look at that. Now Ashton really trying to challenge Stuart Dick here. He's going to try him around the outside into McCree's corner. And I think that Stuart Dick's just going to be able to hang on to that one. But Luke Cooper up into 15th place. Those drivers moving up quite nicely. Steve Hansford, here's a nice battle. 4 cars battle here from that 6th all the way down to 10th there. So those 5 cars really going at it here. Adrian Hendy tried to move his way up. He's up 4 spots from his starting. But he's got quite a bit of a gap now. Back to McCarron, Peter Van Gool, and Steve Hansford. They've all moved up 14, 16, and 10 places respectively. But Adrian Hendy had a little bit better starting position, but he has moved his way up, but not as much as Kip Stevens has. He's moved up 14 spots here, so he is on the charge towards the front as the front 2 start to battle, and it is Charlie Summers who has taken over the race lead.
Yeah, so getting ahead of Adam Delmont. I think that was just at the conclusion of the previous lap, and maybe into turn 1 on this lap. So yeah, Summers into the lead, but it doesn't mean too much. At least Delmont's staying right on his tail, and this one's going to go right to the end. This lap 4, so I think 5 lap races pretty much, unless you're unbelievably quick around this circuit. And so they've got 1 more lap after this one. For this one to be settled. Baxter actually the fastest driver on that last lap, but he was only 1/10 faster than Summers, so I don't think he's going to quite make it unless Summers deliberately holds up Delmont in order to get his teammate into play.
Yeah, and still the thing about it is that Delmont gets 1 good run, he gets down the inside, and they go 2 by 2 for, and that's just put Baxter right up in it. So that's the downside of these MX5s is that there's such momentum cars. The second that you start battling, you can lose a 2-second gap within an instant in these cars. They're so easy to lose a gap. And it's Jerome Ursum having to defend here from Kip Stevens. I think Stevens is going to make a pretty easy overtake, though, down the inside. So Kip Stevens should move his way up into 5th place, sorry. So Stevens with a nice drive forward. He is moving up quite a bit as we see this battle here. Hendy just going to slot his way up into 9th place. Going to push Andy Maxwell down into 10th. Now his next victim here is Ralph Cullinan. He's going to try to dive it down the inside. Is Hendy? No, he's going to think better of it.
Yeah, Cullinan up 7 places himself as last lap now. And he's got 1 more lap to get this moved. I'll say 2 more laps. Apologies. No, this is a 6-lap race. Apologies. So yeah, we've got 2 more laps to go, and so he's got a little bit longer to go. And it's all about positioning for that final lap. So that does give Stephen Baxter a bit more of a chance. But on that last lap, Baxter actually lost 1.5 seconds to the 2 race leaders. Them 2 just giving each other so much of a draft that they're just dragging one another away from the driver in 3rd position.
Back here at Steve Hansford. Hansford really having to put the pressure here on Jerome Ursum. Ursum is just behind Kip Stevens, but I think he's just a little bit too far back to make a move. Obviously not fighting him for position in class, fighting him only for overall position. So I think that Jerome Ursum is going to look to take the championship points more than the race points. So, yeah, being the second AM driver, Roy Ververko is your top AM. He is currently sitting in 4th overall. Peter Van Gool, Nick McCarron, Steve Hansford, Luke Cooper. This is right now a nice battle for P11. The 4 cars battling there. Just about 1.7 seconds separate them. They're not too big of a gap indeed right now.
Yeah, those drivers who were at the front of race 1 have done ever so well to get through the field. The likes of McCann and Van Gool and Cooper as well, and Ashton and Hampson have all stayed really close to one another. Only a few seconds separates those lots of drivers at the moment, and for all of them not to get involved in a crash seemingly, that's extremely impressive, and they're all going to score pretty well in the championship and have decent positions for race 3. McCann getting ahead of Maxwell.
So McCarron ahead of Maxwell now. You can see the driver a second ago. Those are the drivers that were up front. Jack Ashton now looking here for a move on McRitchie. No, he's actually going Hampson to make a move on McRitchie. So Ashton going to try it with Hampson around the outside. McRitchie's going to hang it down the inside. They're going to make contact, and Hampson is around that's going to a little bit involve Jack Ashton. Jason Cooper is going to be the biggest mover in that one. He actually went from behind that whole train to the front of the whole train. So a nice job there from Jason Cooper, able to move up, I think 4 or 5 spots just in the span of 2 corners.
Oh, we got a car slowing as well. 72, Steve Hefford into the wall, and he was having a good run, solidly in the top 10. Not anymore. He's yes, going to slip way down with that damage. And I had to say that hack of drivers hadn't got caught up in an instant, and then they have a spin, but should get back on his way relatively quickly. Was the driver who had that initial spin. So Hansford gets ahead of Ursum, or is that defending against Ursum? They're getting ahead of Ursum.
I think Hanford just got by him.
Yeah.
But the battle for the lead's definitely not cooling down anytime soon. Charlie Summers in the Swift Cooper Esports car. He's currently leading over Adam Delmont. So Delmont really having a push here to try to get by Charlie Summers. I was just looking at the gaps here in the last lap. Summers was able to pull out such a gap here on the mountain. But that doesn't appear to be the case anymore on this lap. They are catching up to some lap traffic as well, so that may play a factor here in the closing few sections of the racetrack. But yeah, Charlie Summers very, very strong on the mountain section. As Delmont's going to lose it. Delmont into the wall, and that's just a little bit of over pushing there. That's going to allow Steven Baxter through, and Roy Vaverke, he's about 4 seconds behind, so he actually may be able to get by Adam Delmont here, who seems to have some big damage to the front end of that MX5.
Yeah, I mean, that car does not look good whatsoever. He's going to do well to keep it flat out down the back straight. If he can do that, then he might just be okay in terms of holding onto that position, but it's not looking good for him. You can see how far the drivers have spread out in this race, showing the incidents that we've had. And that is Josh Rayfield, I think, losing out on a position. And
I will just say, I've been watching Josh Rayfield here, just watching there for the 2 corners. This man may be one of the best at catching cars that I think I've ever seen, because he had 2 big incidents where the car was almost completely sideways on him, and somehow kept the car facing straight without losing too much time. Very, very impressive, sir.
We've had Charlie Summers already come across the line to win race 2 of the evening in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Charlie Summers wins with Stephen Baxter in 2nd place, Roy Verke in 3rd. Clearly, there was a bit more damage for, was it Cooper who, sorry, not Cooper. Not sure who it was who made contact a few moments ago. Was it Delmont?
That was
Delmont finished 5th in the end.
Delmont. So Delmont finishing 5th. Big loss of time for him there. Hampson also, one of the drivers involved in the incident in the chase, also losing out a bunch of time. So he has not had the best of races here in race 2. Maybe a little bit of damage that we couldn't see there. Billy Rose, he's had some sort of an issue. He's losing some time. It's an unfortunate end to the night for him. Niels Carstensen is, I believe, out of it, so that should promote Steve Hefford up another position. But Hefford as well, had a bunch of damage there, so he did have a bit of an incident after running in the top 10. And as you can see, a lot of damage to the front end of that MX5.
Yeah, he had to carry that damage for the last 2 laps, I think. So a good effort there from Steve Hefford. Perkis crosses the line. Also, Beard, of course, this does matter, crossing the line on the lead lap, because it means that you're eligible for the reverse grid. So should we get a full reverse grid, then Ashley Beard will be the pole sitter for the next race. Oh, sorry, no, Beard is actually 1 lap down. Apologies. So actually, the last driver on the lead lap was actually Craig Jones. So Beard 1 lap down. Unfortunately, clearly had to make a pit stop or something. And well, we had an excite driver near the front in Adam Delmont for much of the race, but it'll be Ashley Beard rounding out the finishers in race 2, and we can now go through the final standings. And it's Charlie Summers winning out by 3 seconds in the end. He'll be pleased with how comfortable that was after a mistake from Adam Delmont in the closing stages. Roy Verke top AM driver. First to third, nice drive from him. Kip Stevens, great drive from 20th on the grid to get into 4th. And Delmont could have definitely been a 2nd place, maybe even a win had it not been for a spin coming down the hill on the last lap. He only just beat Rafe Cullinan in the end, who finished in 6th. Urain Ursum in 7th. There's Adrian Hendy 8th. Steve Hansford in 9th, and Pete Van Gool finishing in 10th place. Behind that was Andy Maxwell, Luke Cooper, great drive from 34th on the grid, Nick McKern, Martin Sampson, Jason Cooper, James McRitchie, Jamie Ayres, Jack Ashton, David Ayres, and Max Bohr rounding up the top 20. And then behind that was Christian Brown, Stuart Dick, Adam McNally, Alex Cherney, David Hampson, Carl Hardy, Craig Cameron, Max Wright, Josh Rayfield, Ben Sharp, Wouter Ben Essen, Scott Malcolm, Billy Rose, Steve Hefford, Alex Perkis, Craig Jones rounding up the top, the drivers on the lead lap. So those drivers will be eligible for the reverse grid. Behind that was Graham Sesford, Niles Carstensen, Stephen Minton, Yaroslav Sebula, Ashley Beard, and then the proper retirees were Dale Bennison, Michael Key, Carl Yaklet, Rob Graham, Abdulkir Al-Amri, Cesar Rizzo, and Charles Kellyman. And so, time for the race 3 reverse grid.
So we'll go ahead and pull up the reverse grid here for you. And we'll just go ahead and quickly spin the wheel. So we spin it for the 2nd time here tonight. So wait on the wheel to spin around. And it is going to be 45. So we'll have a 45 place reverse grid here. So let's jump back. Let's see where that is going to put them.
Should be a full reverse grid then of 36.
So it should be a full reverse grid of 36 then. So we should have Craig Jones on the pole. So Craig Jones will be on the pole here for race 2 with Alex Perkis in 2nd, Steve Hefford in 4th. So actually, not a bad end to the race there for Steve Hefford, being that he did finish on the lead lap. Now he starts on the pole for race 2.
Yeah, it will be very strong potentially for that race 3. And yeah, plenty of other drivers with a decent chance for that one. You do not want to miss race 3 of the evening here on the iRacing Esports Network. We'll see you back in about 20 minutes' time.
finish here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMeritt at the line.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. We are at Bathurst and we are in the night a bit now. Once again, myself is Sam Fitzpatrick, and once again I'm joined alongside by Tyler Maxton, and this is a bit of an extra element, isn't it, Tyler? About 7:30 in the evening currently. It shouldn't get too dark in this race, but well, it shows off this fantastic, I think, day-night transition at least.
Yeah, and it definitely is going to be really challenging for those drivers. That means the next race will be in the night, and being that Bathurst has no lights, it will be pretty much completely pitch black, other than the headlights coming off this Mazda MX5. So these drivers are definitely going to have a challenge, to say the least, into the final race. But right now, here for race number 3, we're definitely going to have some drivers that are going to have some issues, possibly having to start deep in the field. But the drivers who were up front in the first race are also going to be more to the front in this race as well. So see how it goes. As they're getting ready to grid, we'll go ahead and run you through the top 10.
Yes, and it's Ashley Beard. He finished 1 lap down, but he does get that pole position. Jelslar Chebula starts alongside him with Stephen Minson in 3rd. There's Niles Carstensen in 4th. Graham Sessford in 5th. There's Craig Jones, Alex Perkis, Steve Hefford, Billy Rose, and Scott Malcolm rounding out the top 10. The rest of the drivers will go through for you. The winner of race 2 was Charlie Summers. He starts down in 41st position. So a lot of places for him to gain in this one. And of course, yeah, the likes of Steve Baxton, Roy Verke, Kip Stevens, all front runners from that race a long way back. Fortunately, we don't seem to have had the same issues as we had in the last race. All the drivers seem to be gridding up for this race 3 of the evening here at Bathurst. The lights are coming on now. It's Ashley Beard on the pole position. Chebula alongside him. And away we go. Already a jump start for one of the drivers a bit further back, and we're going to have a lot of contacts as well. One of the drivers with an absolutely awful start. I think that was Stephen Minson straight away falling down the field, but Ashley Beard with a clear run into turn 1. And now we've got a spinner as well. That's Chebula round. Driver who was starting in 2nd place, and also we've got 104 rounds as well, not as Perkis as well. So about 3 of the top 5 drivers with horrendous starts there. Means that Craig Jones has gone from 6th to 2nd straight away. Fantastic start for him, and he might even go for the lead. No, Craig Jones quite a bit far back of Ashley Beard. We might even have 3 wide though going into turn 2. This is the battle for 2nd place with the race leader miles out in the lead. We almost got a cut into the wall, and that's Sessford dropping way down the field, was fighting for 2nd place. He's now down outside the top 10.
Yeah, so now he is dropped way back there. Not with the start that he wanted, but Steve Hefford up into P2. That's 6 spots up from him. Nice job from him off the line. Craig Jones as well. Billy Rose and Scott Malcolm all making up positions off the line, but Stephen Minton obviously had a very horrendous start. He's down to 6th place. So he's lost pretty much half his grid position. And just as you said, half of the top 5 having a spin in turn 1.
Yeah, quite exceptional. That may be just the cooler track conditions playing a bit of a part. It is down to 18 degrees, which is about 10 degrees lower than it was in the previous race. Once again, we're lacking a big pile-up, something that we're adamant we were going to see multiple times today. Well, the most amount of times it's going to happen is once, because we've got race 4 still coming up. We have got a car into the wall, though. That is Stephen Minson, who already had a poor start, and we've also got 98 in the wall as well. I'm not quite sure who that was. Jack Ashton, who had a fantastic start, was into the top 10, one of the championship challengers as well, and he's dropped way down the order with a crash.
Yes, he's dropped way down the order there, and we are starting to see, we're not seeing a big pile-up, but we're seeing a lot of mini ones. So I guess you could quite call that possibly a big pile-up. Yeah, but a lot of small crashes here. Luckily, nothing that's blocking the road going down through the mountain. Not something that we haven't seen here at Bathurst. It's very tight up on the mountain, so the chances of a couple cars getting together and blocking the entire road is very likely here. But this is the battle right now for 3rd place. In the lead in the AM race, Rose down the inside of Jones. and he will actually make contact with Jones. Rose is off the track. That also gives Scott Malcolm a good run there on Jones. And a lot of curve for Rose cost both of them some time, maybe even allowing Scott Malcolm up into the lead of the AM race as
no.
Jones, they're around Ray. That's going to be Craig Jones is still going to be there, but we do have a big pile up. There's that big pile up that we were talking about.
Yep, it happened on lap 2, but it's well and truly arrived. And that's the 2 leaders of the AM drivers. That's 444 just coming through the field. Not quite sure who that was. Maybe Adam McNally. Or sorry, Billy Rose just gaining a few positions, trying to slalom his way through. Here we go. You do not want to see that coming over the hill. Yeah, absolutely fantastic action. Alex Cherney moving up then. He was a big profiteer from that then. He's up 12 places from his start. Jamie Ayres is up 18 places from his start. And look at this. Absolutely a swarm of Mazdas going towards this next corner. This is lap 2 of the race, remember. Cars constantly making contact.
Yeah, and I don't think that contact is going to stop. It really will up until we get to the end of the race. But all of that has just let your 2 leaders absolutely check away. Ashley Beard now almost 4 seconds ahead of Steve Hefford, who is currently 9 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. So the field is now, especially in the front, really started to spread out. Then once you get back to 5th, it's all to play for.
It's absolutely mad, this field speed. Remember, Ashley Beard was 3 seconds clear going into turn 2 on the opening lap. That's how much chaos we've had so far. Adam McNally dropping down the field. He's been caught up in an incident.
Adam McNally, he's dropping down.
4, 7, 8. Well, I think that may have been McNally. Yeah. Also, Steve Hansford dropping down the order. One of the race leaders in race 1. But not anymore. Wouter van Essen is having a fantastic run. Not usually a driver who's particularly high up the field, but he's having a good race at the moment. And also Kip Stevens as well. Decent gain for him so far. 18 places up from his start. Here comes Cherney. Alex Cherney. And he's had a spin. So Cherney and Hardy both round.
So just as we clicked away there, been pretty bad timing to click away. I do apologize for that, but yeah, those 2 having a spin as they head through the chase, and that is everyone's so now spread out, but they are pretty close in these little tiny groups. And then there's a little bit bigger gaps than we're used to seeing. We're usually used to seeing drivers pretty much 10th all the way down to about 40th, all in one massive train. Cesar Rizzo is currently 3 wide with Scott Malcolm and Hampson. Dick is now going to try to go all the way down the inside, and he's actually going to make a 2-for-1 there into turn 1. So beautiful move by Stuart Dick. Craig Jones also getting attacked here by Wouter van Essen. So Van Essen having a great race here. He's going to try around the outside. He's not going to be able to do it. Craig Jones, though, is the leader of the AM, so the chances of him making anything too risky are pretty slim, because he is currently has a nice lead of the AM race.
Yeah, Billy Rose is the next driver. 6 seconds between those two. Rose actually losing a position to Baxter currently. So nice race again from Stephen, up 33 places. That is pretty legendary, and we've only been going for 2 and a bit laps. And what a chaotic 2 and a bit laps this has been. You can see that light really is starting to get low now, and by the end of this race, they are not going to have much visibility whatsoever. Delmont trying to respond after a disappointing race 3. Sorry, race 2.
Just seeing so many different drivers, so many cars here in Mount Panorama. 48 drivers started the race. We currently have 39 still running, so that just shows you how many drivers. First lap incidents and second lap incidents. That's when we really saw all the incidents start to happen. But Alex Cherney doing a pretty good job actually after having contact there with Jamie Ayer.
I've forgotten who it was as well, to be honest.
Carl Hardy.
Yeah, Carl Hardy.
So yeah, they've made contact. He's actually definitely gone out of the better of it, being in 18th place. Hardy is currently down in 35th, so Hardy with pretty big issues there. And we also are seeing, this is the train that we're used to here. A pretty big, long train here, pretty much from 11th all the way down to about 21st. So pretty big train of drivers there. You can see them all going side by side here. Ayers and Summers. Summers now is going to have the inside heading into Marais Corner. And he should just be able to get the move done, I think, heading into Marais Corner. He's going to get a lot of curb, but he is going to be able to get the move done. And Max Bohr is also going to try to bores into the wall. He's been turned, I think. And that is another big incident. That's 3 drivers involved, and I think that's going to be it. Alex Cherney also involved, so he's had a terrible night here tonight, as several drivers involved in that incident. I think it was 3 or 4 at least. So I don't quite know what happened there. It looked to me like he just got clipped.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I guess a little bit more room could have been left by all the drivers in that situation, and in the end, they all came off very badly from it. But Jason Cooper making his way through, who hasn't had an awesome run so far today. Just trying to find what position this is. Oh, sorry, this is 5th position, of course. Ahead of Steven Baxter. Baxter just set the fastest lap of the race. And that last lap, Baxter was actually 1 second faster than the race leader. Unfortunately for him, he's 23 seconds behind. Still running in 6th place. Unbelievable field spread. You could have the race leader coming into the pits and he'd still come out in 2nd place. Just shows how many incidents we've had with drivers holding up one another. But Cooper ahead of Baxter, and Jones Van Gool is 3 seconds behind these guys, but I expect Baxter to go for a run down the back straight, and also Van Essen. Awesome run from Reuter so far. He's only 2 seconds ahead of these guys, and isn't especially quick in comparison.
Yeah, Alex Cherney there. Big slide there from Cherney. He's into the wall. And that is him pretty much done here tonight. Several drivers now moving their way past him, so he's going to lose a lot of positions. That's not how he wanted to end race 3, but he should be able to benefit there from the reverse grid if he is just able to finish. Mikey Key leading, or currently 5th in the race here. Al Amory on his bumper as they head down into the chase. They got one little kink to go, and I think Al Amory is just going to stay in line for now, but we got a big battle here. Adam Delmont, Charlie Summers, and Chris. They're all going to go 2 by 2 through the chase. Summers is going to get up into 11th, sorry. But Delmont back down the inside here into Murares. So Delmont not able to get the move done, though. Billy Rose just sitting back and watching those 2 battle, trying to pick up the pieces if they do end up having a crash. Jump back up here to the battle for 4th place. It is Jason Cooper, Steven Baxter, and Wouter Van Essen, who is having a great race, like you said. Great race for Van Essen. Usually not this far up the field, but nonetheless, great race for him. And big mover here is Steven Baxter, Swift Cooper Esports, up 35 places from a starting position. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's absolutely mad from Baxter. Congratulations to him. Of course, he still needs to finish this race, and he's still got nearly 2 laps to execute if he's going to do that. But excellent performance from him. He's going to have a decent points haul from today, despite not a fantastic race 1, if I remember correctly. But Pete Van Gool then, under pressure from Christian Brown. Just starting to spread out a little bit. We did have that massive pack, didn't we, from about 10th place down to 25th, but now they are just separating a little bit. Craig Jones still the leader of the amateur drivers. Billy Rose somehow in 2nd position. He's in 13th place overall, but that 2nd place in the AM drivers, which is surprising in such a topsy-turvy race as this. You'd expect a few more AM drivers to be punching above their weights, perhaps. Charlie Summers, of course, started a long way down the order. 29 places gained for him. He was trying to get past Adam Delmont.
So Delmont back around Summers. So Summers has lost a position somewhere there. And I'm seeing a couple of drivers counting as crashed. And that is Ben Sharp. He's into the barriers, it looks like. And I believe he's also collected Alex Perkins as well. So I think Perkins has already towed. back to the pit lane? Yes, he has. So Perkins already towed back to the pit lane. And I don't know whether Perkins collected Sharp or Sharp collected Perkins. But I think that had to do something with it. But right now, Jamie Ayres being caught by Jason Cooper. So Jason Cooper making a big move forward, but this is the final lap. He won't be able to get it done. He's just a bit too far back. But Luke Cooper here in a battle with Christian Brown and Peter Van Gool. Van Gool is the lead of the train. Cooper's going to try him around the outside, but Brown's going to go to the inside, and I think he may be able to just get by Cooper here. Cooper is going to get really, really late on the brakes. Brown is going to think, no, Cooper is going to have the position there in the end.
Yeah, awesome batting from those guys. So yeah, Ayres in third, Cooper fourth, Baxter fifth. Also got that Van Gool, Cooper, Brown battle. Cooper and Brown just going side by side currently down the back straights. And Cooper getting ahead of Brown just in the past few seconds, just for a ninth position out there. As we move on to the last lap of the race, lap 6 of this race.
Jason Cooper caught up to Jamie Ayres. So Jamie Ayres has lost a bit of time here, and Jason Cooper is now right up on the bumper of Ayres. So Cooper's going to be looking for a move here. Charlie Summers and Adam Delmont are going side by side. Or Charlie Summers and Christian Brown. So what's happened to Adam Delmont? Adam Delmont's dropped down into the 12th place position. So Delmont's lost a lot of time there. And they've lost out to Luke Cooper and Christian Brown right now, putting pressure on Charlie Summers, but Summers putting pressure on Cooper. So it is Cooper at the head of the train right now. Summers down the inside. No, he backs out of it there, going down into the S's. Isn't able to make that move. It's not the easiest place to make a move unless you've got a pretty much perfect run on somebody.
Like, these two are teammates. You'd expect them just to lock out the circuit, really, and fend from the drivers behind, but they seem pretty racy at the top of the hill, it must be said. Ayres and Cooper going almost over, so we are going to have to cut to the race leader though, Ashley Beard, to see him cross the line. He's got one more corner to go into Murray's. Just cut back to this one for a moment, because this is ever so close. Cooper just a little bit ahead. Ashley Beard crosses the line to win race 3 here. What is going to happen though between Cooper? He crosses the circuit there. I don't think a slowdown. We haven't seen Jazz pick up a slowdown for that all day long. Cooper just losing that lead to Ayres. But Cooper pulling back ahead. Nice run through Murray's, and he takes home a podium. What is going to happen just behind? This is Summers and Cooper and Delmont as well. It looks as though Summers is going to come out on top of this one. Cooper gets ahead of Delmont. And Brown and Stevens just behind that. So a little bit of a poor lap, I think, for Cooper in the end, just dropping behind Summers. But still pretty good for the Swift Cooper Esports. They don't lose any positions for the team.
Yeah, there we go. A little bit of banging there with Rob Cullinan and Charles Kellyman. I think it's just going to be Cullinan just there ahead in the end. And the last few drivers just going to go ahead and finish up. Ben Sharp, after having that crash there, unfortunate for him, is going to lose a lot of positions out of that one. As we just watched the final few drivers work their way through the final few corners. Jack Ashton, another driver who's had a lot of issues in this race. Up tonight. But yeah, a lot of drivers having issues in tonight's race. A lot of top drivers having issues in this race and not able to take home any top spots. But they hopefully will be able to reverse or benefit from the reverse grid, which we'll see here in just a few moments' time.
Yes, but before all of that, we'll do the results, but unfortunately we've got to have all the drivers crossing the line, and Craig Cameron is rather preventing that currently. Is he on the lead lap? He will be eligible for the reverse grid for Craig Cameron, as I was incorrect earlier when I thought you had to finish on the lead lap. You can actually be one lap down, and that is what Craig Cameron is. And so when it comes to the reverse grid for race 4, he could be on pole position if we get a full reverse grid. But before that, we'll go through the results. And it's actually Beard winning out by 4 seconds over Steve Hefford. That gap kind of just maintained for the whole race, and Beard converts that pole position. Jason Cooper was 20 seconds off the lead. Rare that you see first and third separated by 20 seconds. Jamie Ayres was in 4th. Nice battle between those two and Steve Baxter. Fantastic result for Wouter van Essen in 6th. There's Craig Jones in 7th. Pete Van Gool in 8th. Charlie Summers beat Luke Cooper 9th and 10th. There's Adam Delmont, Christian Brown, Kip Stevens, David Ayres, Nick McCann, Billy Rose, Cesar Rizzo, Jaroslaw Chebula, Andy Maxwell, and Stuart Dick. Rounding out the top 20. Behind that was Abdulkir Al Amri, Adrian Hendy, Roy Verke, Michael Key, Rob Graham, James McRitchie, Jeroen Ursum, Carl Hardy, Rafe Hallinan, and Charles Kellyman, rounding out the top 30. Then behind that was Niles Carstensen, Ben Sharp, Scott Malcolm, Dale Bennison, Jack Ashton, Craig Cameron, David Hampson, Alex Cherney, and Max Bohr. By the way, Cameron was the last driver of those lot to be eligible for the reverse grid. And then the rest of the retirees were Andy Perkis, Graham Chesford, Carl Yacolet, Adam McNally, Max Wright, Martin Sampson, Josh Rayfield, and Stephen Minton, running out the 48 drivers. And so we could have a reverse grid of up to 36, but well, what will it be, Tyler?
So we're just going to go ahead and head over to the reverse grid now, and we're going to roll the reverse grid wheel here for the 3rd time and last time tonight. And it's going to be a full -1. So we will have, as I pull the grid back up, or the results back up here for you.
Ooh, Jack Ashton.
So Jack Ashton is going to be on the pole. Craig Cameron just barely missing out. He'll start 36, but Dale Bennison, Scott Malcolm, Ben Sharp, and Niels Carstensen, that should be your top 5 here for race number 4. We should be back in just about 20 minutes time here for race number 4 and the final race of the evening here in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. We should be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
finish here of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher Demerit at the line.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Tronke goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I tried, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR Masters MX5 Pro Series. We are just getting up for race 4 of the evening, and on pole position for race 4 is Craig Cameron ahead of Jack Ashton. Dale Bennison starts in third with Scott Malcolm fourth. Then it's Ben Sharp, Niles Carstensen, Charles Kellyman, Rafe Cullinan, Carl Hardy, Ewan Ursum. That's the top 10. The rest of the drivers will go through for you now. The race winner of race 3 was Adam McNally, I think. Who? Sorry, no. Just getting a little bit confused. Actually, he was the race winner of race 3. It seems to be a little bit more mixed up. Is the grid, but certainly Craig Cameron on the pole position after getting pretty much a full reverse grid earlier on. Here we go. Cameron from the pole position. Ashton, what can he do from second place? Field already relatively spread out going into turn 1, at least for the front runners. Cameron maintains the race lead, and we've got the car round. That's car number 74. I think that's Scott Malcolm who's been spun around. We've got a lot of cars involved in that one. That's going to be a lot of retirees straight away. Let's see if anyone near the back can get through that one. Ashton already pressurising for the lead, but that's a lot of damage to a lot of Masters already, and that was only turn 1. It was just a tiny bit of contact through that first corner time.
And there was the big one that we were talking about. Definitely the big one that we were talking about every single race tonight, that we were expecting to happen, and it has now happened. I think that was about 10 cars involved in that, and my timing screen is officially completely glitched out there. So sorry for the lack of camera movement. I was pretty much stuck on the car that I was on. But Jack Ashton leads over Craig Cameron. Niels Carstensen is down in 30s, 1.8 seconds behind those two. But this is the battle for the lead. Craig Cameron all up over the back of Jack Ashton. There's just 2/10 separating them. Ralph Cullinan also right up on the back of Rob Graham. Graham all sorts of sideways heading up the hill and into the mountain section. But this is the battle now. The battle has actually started to separate a little bit. Cameron losing a lot of time going down the hill, and now that's put Niels Carstensen up on the back of Craig Cameron.
Yeah, Carstensen would have wanted to be a little bit closer to Ashton, but if he can get a slingshot here past Cameron, he might just be able to stay in that slipstream range of the race leader. He's currently 1.7 seconds behind, but you can see he gets a little bit of overspeed here, getting into the slipstream. Any defense put up by Cameron, not too much, puts his car to the middle of the circuit. There's not going to be much defense though being put up there, but crucially Ashton already with a bit of a handy advantage here, and maybe that's a big enough advantage now to break the draft and go on to win this race 4 after not a fantastic evening of racing. Carstensen still hasn't got the move done. Here comes Cameron down the inside. Carstensen all the way around the outside. He hasn't had a great day, but is up into second position now. A big pack of drivers really all the way from 6th down to about 13th place at the moment. Not 2/10 separating more two of the drivers out there, and we've got side by side between Hendy and Stevens currently. Also a little bit of side-by-side just behind with Delmont trying to get involved in that one. Hendy actually moving ahead of Stevens. Nicely done there. Stevens, of course, one of the championship challengers at the moment. And Stevens actually with a poor exit there. Charlie Sands and Adam Delmont and Steve Hefford and Pete Van Gool, all very quick drivers right behind him currently, and just waiting to get past the Swift Cooper Esports track.
Yeah, Nick McCarron also moving his way up past Wouter Van Essen. Jamie Ayers, and there's another spin. That's McNally. McNally's had a terrible night here tonight, and he goes for another spin. Jason Cooper, another one of the movers here on lap 1, but back to McNally, though. He's had a terrible night here tonight. Wouter Van Essen gonna try it round the outside here. Jamie Ayers. He's got the slipstream of his teammate McCarron, does Ayers, but McCarron pulls back in line. Ayers will also be able to pull back in line. The two sim-lap drivers will go right by Wouter Van Essen. So Van Essen down into 21st place, but that big crash on lap 1 has helped out so many drivers. We're down to 38 drivers running, so we've lost already 10 drivers just through that first couple sections there. Carl Jacquelet just getting, this is our Rizzo, So Rizzo moving up another spot. He's down quite a bit from his starting position. I think he was involved in that lap 1 incident. This battle, though, still not over. And also the battle for 7th. Rob Graham at the head of that one. Adrian Hendy back in the 8th spot. He's also got Roy Ververke, Charlie Summers, Luke Cooper, Adam Delmont, Steve Hefford, Kip Stevens. Those are your drivers involved in that big group. There's about 10, 15 cars maybe involved in that battle, and that pretty much stretches all the way from inside the top 7 down to about 15, 16th place.
Slow exit there for Benison. The 37 car, he's already down 3 places from his start. He's going to lose another position here. Who is that getting the slipstream? That's Hendy. Hendy's had a fantastic lap. After holding off Stevens, he's now about 10 places ahead of Stevens. He's not had the best lap of his life, it's safe to say. Benison actually just lifting out the throttle. This could be problematic. They're almost going 3 wide, but probably wise for Benson to let those cars go. Here's Cullinan over the curb and almost getting a bit of air. Wide though is Rob Graham. And just over-rotating that car onto the grass, and he's lost probably about 8 positions, not quite sure there. So disappointing for him. But Hendy up into 7th place, Summers up into 6th. He's up 22 places in 2 laps. Quite remarkable from him that he could well be the highest point scorer, I think, at the end of the day. And he's just gained another position there up into 5th place past Rafe Cullinan. But Cullinan, pretty fast driver, he might be able to stay in that slipstream.
Yeah, Cullinan, definitely a fast driver. He is an AM driver, but he is a very, very quick AM at that. And Roy Ververke, also very, very quick drivers. Hendy and Cooper, obviously, in the pros. But Ververke, one of the fastest AM drivers there is out there. These two, definitely some good AMs. As there you go, Charlie Summers and Ralph Cullinan. They're going to go side by side. Hendy's going to be all the way over on the right-hand side of the circuit. He's not going to be able to get the move done. Cullinan is going to have the inside. That should easily give him the move up into the mountain section. And he is actually going to stay back in 6th place. So Charlie Summers, as you said, 23 spots up in just 2 laps of this race. That's absolutely impressive driving from him. Another driver really up is Steve Hefford, so keep an eye on him as well to move up even more spots in this race. Both these drivers, I'm sure, are able to benefit from the first turn crash, but don't take it away from them. They have absolutely been flying here in the last few laps.
Yeah, been charging up through the field, making mincemeat of the other drivers. Just incredible racecraft from a few of these drivers, just make so little, such good progress through the order. Cullinan now 9/10 of a second behind so already starting to lose that slipstream. McCarran almost into the wall there. He's having to defend currently behind against Bora and Jones as well. Just getting detached from that pack ahead, and McCarran will really be wishing that that wasn't the case, because now he's quite far behind. As
back here, he's looking for a move. This is a good battle here, though. We're 2 wide, 2 back. Here, there's 3 cars on the inside. That's Cooper, Hendy, Delmont, Hefford, and Cullinan. They're all here in a nice battle here for 6th place. Cooper is going to hang on to that one. Delmont is going to slot into 7th. Hendy into 8th. Cullinan 9th, and Steve Hefford. That will be your top. That will be your 10th place runner here. But Hefford, he's not happy with that. He's down the inside of Cullinan. Cullinan tries to hang it around the outside. They're going to make a bit of contact, but Hefford is going to lose out the most there. Kip Stevens now in the Swift Cooper Esports car, looking for a move on Hefford. Van Gool all the way down the inside, possibly down the inside of both of them down into turn 1. But Stevens will back out of it. Van Gool will as well, and they will stay as they were.
Fantastic bat today. Kit Stevens has done well, actually. He went from 12th down to about 15th and then back up into 11th place now. So nice driving there from Kip Stevens. Summers is up ahead of Key now. So Mikey Key still leader of the AM Jazz. I believe we'll have 4 different pro driver winners and 4 different AM driver winners by the end of today, which I'm not quite sure how often that happens, but it is still quite remarkable that can happen in a series. was 49 drivers out here, so a big field of drivers to potentially win a race. With Cullinan starting to fall down the order, then 11th position now. Remember, he was up in 6th place just one lap ago. But it just shows if you get a little bit offline, then all of a sudden you're falling down the order. Peter Van Gool already up 17 places. He's going to be next up for the move. And Roy Verke, who won race 2 of the AM drivers, also up there. And he's actually 3rd place out of the AM drivers, so it could be a good points haul for him today.
He definitely could be a good points haul for him. Up into 4th place is Billy Rose. So, yeah, we're just looking here. We got several battles all the way through the field. Rob Graham is going to make up a move here on Dave Hampson. They're going to go side by side through the S's. That is not where you want to be going side by side, fellas. But Billy Rose as well. He's moving up several positions at 5 spots. But your biggest mover that I can see right now is Steve Hefford. He's moved up 26 positions. He's currently chasing down Adrian Hendy in the Year 1 racing car. Hefford in the SimLab car. Let's see if Hefford's able to make a move down into the chase. It's going to make him try him into the kink. Let's see, he's going to have the long way around to go in the chase. Is he able to make the move? He is going to still have a nose in. That should give him the outside for Murray's. And he is going to make the move done even before Murray's corner. Luke Cooper as well, defending here from Adam Delmont. Delmont now should have the better run, being that he was on the outside. He didn't pinch out the corner as much. Delmont down the inside of Luke Cooper, and that should just give Delmont the room and just give Delmont the position there, I think. But Cooper way off the circuit. That may give him a good run here down the mountain straight. And Adam Delmont is going to still be ahead by not by much. Delmont is ahead. Hefford as well. He is ahead of Adrian Hendy. Roy Verke, Ralph Cullinan, and Jamie Ayers. That's another good battle here on the racetrack for you. This is a nice 3-car battle. Ayers having to move a little bit further up. He did drop back just a little bit, I believe. But Jamie Ayers now back up into P13. His next driver on his pecking order is Ralph Cullinan. And then he has a little bit of a gap to catch before he can get up to the back of the train that leads him into the top 5. That is Peter Van Gool. The battle for 5th, still not cooling down. Adam Delmont still has Luke Cooper all over his rear bumper. And they have about 1.5 seconds before they get up to Mikey Key, who is the current leader of the AM drivers, and currently chasing down Charlie Summers. And he's actually doing a good job of doing it. He's actually closing the gap to Charlie Summers. So Mikey Key having an absolutely awesome final race here.
Yeah, it really is, and he's still got probably about a 7-second lead over 2nd place in the AM drivers. Cullinan, who continues to fall down the order down into 12th position now for him. Yeah, Kip Stevens doing a good job up into the top 9 now, and yeah, only 1 second behind Steve Hefford. Hendy, by the way, just had a couple of poor corners. Also, Verke earlier on in the lap, you probably just saw him at turn 2, going way offline, getting just pushed out and lost about 3 places. And remember, there is going to be a little bit of marble build-up in this race, and once you get wide onto offline, then it can easily degrade your grip. As Nick McCarron now having to defend against Ashley Beard. Of course, Beard, winner of race 3. Sorry, that's Billy Rose actually going past McCarron. And also Van Essen, one of the front runners from the last race. So it just shows these drivers who were so top at race 3 that have so much time to make up in this race 4. Just shows what the reverse grid can do to the action. You just cannot rely on anyone to be at the front of the field in 2 races in a row. Key now under big pressure from Delmont. So
yeah, Mikey Key getting some pressure now from Adam Delmont. Luke Cooper there in 6th. So he, or 7th, sorry, but he will be trying to maybe go with Delmont here to get by Key. I don't think that Key will put up too much of a fight. He is currently running in 5th overall, but he is currently leading the AM drivers by just about 9 places, now 10. So I don't think he'll put up too much of a battle. There is the battle for cars again. Jason Cooper, Roy Verke, Max Borey, and Jamie Ayers They're all going to be here in a nice little battle there. Ayers and Cooper. Cooper is way wide. He's going to lose some spots. Jamie Ayers is actually going to be the best taker from all of that, and he's actually going to move up 4 spots.
Yeah, this is the last lap of the race as well, so the moves have got to be counted now as Key goes side by side with Delmont. 69 versus 26 currently as a Thunder at the top of the hill and still going side by side. So much grip in comparison to Power. They can just go flat out around most of these corners with no issues whatsoever. Having to try to cover off now down the inside is Luke Cooper. So Key loses 2 places. He's still going to have a slipstream though down into the chase. So not the end of the world for him. It's still going to be the race win out of the drivers, I believe, at the moment. Summers really close to Cameron as well. So this is the battle for 3rd position. Looks like Jack Ashton is going to win this one. It's looked like since turn 1 there he's going to win this one. Niles Carstensen in 2nd place, Cameron, and then Summers. But which way round will it be? 101 versus 36. We've also got this terrific pack of drivers as well, as Summers gets ahead of Cameron just up the road going through the chase. So that looks like it's going to be 3rd position for him. We've almost got contact here. Surely that is going to be contact as Jack Ashton approaches the line. He is going to win race 4 from 2nd position on the grid. Domination from him in that final race of the evening. Here comes Steve Hefford and all of these other drivers as well, getting ahead of Kip Stevens momentarily. Cooper is going to finish in 6th place. Key loses out 3 places on the last lap, and it's Stevens beating Hefford by 1/10 of a second ahead of Van Gool and Baxter.
So there you go. All your drivers just coming out across the line. Everyone is just finishing up here. This is the last few little bit. Craig Jones, into the back of Rob Graham, and Jones is going to get the move done. I don't think that there will be very, very nice words to be said from either of those drivers after the race. Big hit for him in the final corner. We're just going to watch the final few drivers work their way through the end of the lap here. Only 31 drivers finished here in the final race of the evening. 31 drivers finishing, and from 48, or to 32 actually, all being retirees. So almost 20 cars retiring here tonight.
It started off so well, didn't it? We were exclaiming after the first race, like it's only 5 retirements. And as the race went on, race 3, we had a couple of we had kind of that pile up, didn't we, on the 2nd lap. And a very sped up field, plenty of incidents, and then that race 4, that turn 1, we wrecked about 10 cars, and then a few more as the drivers went on across the night time as well. The drivers did probably pretty well dealing with the night time, and maybe that played a little bit of a part as well. Alex Perkis just crossing the line. And once he's crossed, in fact, there's still another driver, I think. It's Craig Cameron, and he's quite far away, and Mikey Key as well. Oh, sorry, he's already crossed the line. So who's yet to cross?
Any one of them will take the famous jump that we have on display here. And I think Mikey Key's going to take that. So let's quickly ride on board with him. Just a quick way to end off the broadcast here tonight. So let's see if he takes the famous Bathurst jump. And yes, he does. Straight on. And this is just going to end beautifully.
Superb.
And he's actually landed the car. Props to you, Mikey. I will say that one. Props to you. There we go.
Land it without hitting the wall on the side. Nah, it's not gonna happen.
No way. Still, nice job trying, everyone. But yeah, so nice way to end off the night here. You can't go to Bathurst without at least including one jump in there. So you can't go there with, if you're a driver, you can't do it without doing the jump. And if you're a broadcaster, you definitely can't not include jump there. But Mikey Key, well deserved 7th place tonight. He did lose a few spots, but he did end up getting the AM win tonight. So nice job to him. And we have the race results up here for you.
Yes, thanks, Jack Ashton, dominating in the end. From second on the grid, he wins by 4 seconds over Niles Carstensen. Nice result for those two after not a fantastic day for either. Charlie Summers, great day for him. Another podium, up 25 places ahead of Craig Cameron. Adam Delmont finished in 5th with Luke Cooper in 6th. Michael Key was in 7th. Kip Stevens 8th. Steve Hefford in 9th, and Pete Van Gool rounds out the top 10. Behind that was Steve Baxter, Adrian Hendy, Max Bohr, Jamie Ayres, Roy Vertgate, Rafe Carlin, Jason Cooper, Billy Rose, Nick McKern, and Ashley Beard. And then behind that was Wouter Ben Essen, another pretty good performance from him. David Hampson, Craig Jones, Rob Graham, Josh Rayfield, Ewan Urson, Ben Sharp, Martin Sampson, Adam McNally, and Dale Benison and Alex Perkis. Those were the drivers on the lead lap. The drivers 1 lap down were David Ayres, Andy Maxwell, and Graham Besford. And then the drivers who retired were Carl Yacolet, Charles Kellyman, Stephen Minton, Steve Hansford, Cesar Rizzo, Christian Brown, Scott Malcolm, Stuart Dick, Alex Cherney, Carl Hardy, James McRitchie, Abdul Kir Al Amri, Yaroslav Chabela, and Max Wright. 48 cars out there. We started off the evening with 49, and 48 took the last race. So fantastic to see quite so many drivers take part today. Currently, we got no interviews, or no drivers waiting for an interview. But certainly just a reminder, of course, to if you would be so generous to like this video, of course, and also subscribe to the iRacing esports network as well. Plenty of fantastic championships, including the World Championship series as well, which are always a fantastic watch. And also check out our channel as well, Apex Racing TV, our YouTube channel, also our Facebook page as well. Some fantastic memes being posted on that currently, so sure you would not want to miss out. Tyler, what do you know what the race next week is?
Again, being the great broadcaster that I am, know we're going next week. I'm gonna quickly can't figure that out for you. Just give me just 1 second.
Yeah, I am just checking myself actually currently. But of course, if any judges are watching this back, do feel free, even if you didn't win any races or anything, do feel free to join us for an interview. It's always fascinating to hear from the judge because there's always so many kind of hidden narratives that we can't quite appreciate as the race goes on. But by the way, next week will be Silverstone, and it's Silverstone GP. I assume that's going to be the new Silverstone, which will be fantastic. We've got a nice camera pack as well for that one. So looking forward to that one. Apex Racing TV have never broadcasted a race around the new Silverstone before.
Yeah, the new Silverstone. Definitely really excited for that one. Should be a lot of fun. Then we head over to Indy Moto. So a little bit different than what we're used to. Usually seeing the Indy Road Course. In my opinion, I like the Moto circuit better. Then we head over to my favorite track in all of iRacing, the Charlotte Roval.
Really? Wow.
Then we head over to Snetterton Full, then to Zolder, then to the Nordschleife, another one of my favorites, Mid-Ohio, Road America, to cap off the season. Yes, but Snetterton, or Charlotte Roval, actually, it is my favorite track on all of iRacing, so really, really excited for that one.
I must say I'm surprised. I'm not a big fan of it myself. Is it just the slipstreaming kind of the racecraft you can have around there?
For me, it's more of the challenge of the circuit. I love the way the circuit's laid out and how the curbs are laid out. It really, really benefits people who are not afraid to just take the curbs. And I just love the layout. I think it's a lot of fun. A fun layout. I do love any Roval, Daytona, another one of my favorites. I just like any road course that goes onto the oval. Really, I just really enjoy doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some of them are very. I also Homestead. Personally, I do quite like Homestead. Miami, that's Rover. Unfortunately, we're not heading there this season, but seems as though we're not going to have any interviews. So that's a little bit disappointing. But yeah, like I said, any guys watching this back, I certainly do, feel willing to have an interview with us. Perhaps next week instead, because we will be back next week. Of course, later on in the week on Apex Racing TV, our home channel, we've got the Sim Racers World GT Series. That's a GT3 Championship. That will be tomorrow evening. And also, we'll have the iRacing Le Mans Series on Friday as well, which is always very competitive. Apex Racing TV broadcasting that for the entire season. And also the BSR TC Pro Series. That will be on Thursday as well. So do not miss any of that action. Don't miss any of the iRacing Esports Network action either. But for now, from me and from Tyler as well, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.